now, or the biggest problem that they've had was from their police department. They're guys that were supposed to be keeping them safe.
He had little man syndrome. He thought, and again, this is just my speculation, but he feels like, okay, I'm the chief of police of Sunray, so you're going to respect me because of who I am.
All right. I'd like to send a shout out to the YouTube channel Democrat and Chronicle. And is one word for that particular footage. But I'm going to go into the story of this guy who was the police chief of a small town in Texas called Sunray, population 2,000. His name is Timothy. His name is Timothy Dean, and he met this woman named Amber, and he fell for her so hard. This is Amber, and this is Timothy. He fell for her so hard, and so when they married each other actually, and there was a situation that occurred. Timothy abused his child, and therefore the child was taken from his custody by the courts. And as a result of this, his wife's kids were also taken from her because she was married to a guy who was a convicted child abuser. So she was going through the court process to try to win custody back of her children. The father had custody of the children, and the father's name was Josh. And by all accounts, he was a cool young man, great father. Had 2 kids by the woman I just mentioned, and he had a new kid by her, the woman in this picture, Amber. So, the former police chief, this guy, was convinced to murder Josh so that she could get custody back of her children. So what he does is he drives from Texas all the way to New York. This guy, another police officer, bought the rental car, and this guy was on his way to New York from Texas. In Kansas, Wichita, Kansas, he got into a car accident with the rental car. So his wife, she had to drive from Texas to Wichita, Kansas in order to buy him another rental car because he didn't have a credit card. So basically, after the accident, he tells the Kansas police, they wonder, what are you doing here from Texas? Why are you just driving around? And he tells them, hey, I'm going to New York, blah, blah, blah. And these two actually faked the divorce because she knew that as long as she was tied to him, the child abuser, she wouldn't get her kids back. So they faked the divorce, but were still together. So he goes to New York and he kills the guy Joshua. He kills Josh and he kills his new girlfriend. Shoots her in the head because she just so happened to be pulling up after he killed Josh, and she was trying to get away from him, and he shot her in the head. He has weapons training. He was a former police chief. Eventually, police bump into this guy, his buddy who bought the first rental car that got into the accident, and they put the pressure on him, and he basically told the whole plan. And then once they put her under interrogation, she made a deal with prosecutors to get a reduced sentence in order to convict him. So he did all of this for her, and now this guy is in, he's in prison for the rest of his life. He got a reduced sentence as well. He's actually out, the guy who bought the rental car. So, this guy was the guy in the middle. He bought the rental car. He was basically just a dumb gullible friend that would do anything for his pal. So at the end of the day, this guy lost his kids because he abused them, caused his wife to lose her kids because the courts didn't want the kids in the household of a convicted child abuser. They faked a divorce because they thought if she separated from him, she would get her kids back. And if he killed the father of the kids, she would get them back. Which she actually did for a while until they realized that she was the cause of the guy's death. So this guy did all of that. Now look at his face. Look at him. Just stupid. At the end of the day, the girl that you risked your life, the girl that you ruined your life for ended up telling on you and got a reduced sentence and you're in prison forever. Stupid man. Dumbo. Very dumb.